What if the company making AI published their own research on who's losing jobs to it? That's exactly what Anthropic just did. On March 5, 2026, researchers at Anthropic published a paper using Claude's real traffic data to measure something most studies can't touch. Are AI-exposed workers actually losing their jobs? The answer is more complicated than you might expect. Predicting AI's impact on jobs is harder than it sounds. A decade ago, researchers flagged a quarter of US jobs as vulnerable to offshoring. Most of those jobs are still here. Industrial robots were supposed to devastate manufacturing employment. Studies can't even agree on the direction of the effect. The problem is that we keep measuring future risk, and by the time the data comes in, it's already too late to course correct. Anthropic's team wanted to build a framework that could detect the signal early, before the damage becomes obvious. Their approach combines three data sources. First, O*Net, the US government database that breaks down around 800 occupations into specific tasks. Second, Aloundu et al.'s theoretical AI capability scores basically which tasks could an LLM speed up by at least 2 times. Third, Anthropic's own economic index, actual Claude usage logs, tracking which of those tasks people are actually using Claude for in professional settings. The result is a new metric called observed exposure. Unlike previous measures that only asked, could AI do this job? Observed exposure asks, is AI actually doing this job right now and in an automated workflow, not just as a helpful assistant? That distinction matters enormously. Here's the striking finding. There's a massive gap between what AI could theoretically do and what it's actually doing. Take computer and math occupations. Theoretically, LLMs could handle 94% of their tasks. In practice, Claude is only covering 33%. The same gap exists across every occupational category. This means we're still very early. The red area on this chart, actual AI usage, has enormous room to expand into the blue. As that gap closes, the economic disruptions will intensify. So which jobs are actually seeing the most AI penetration right now? Number 1, computer programmers with 74.5% of their tasks covered. Number 2, customer service representatives at 70%, and data entry keyers at 67%, where Claude is heavily used for reading and transcribing documents. Financial analysts, market researchers, software testers, all in the top 10. Notice what these jobs have in common. They're all white-collar, information processing roles. Meanwhile, 30% of all workers have zero AI exposure: cooks, mechanics, lifeguards, bartenders. Physical jobs are essentially untouched so far. Here's a detail that often gets overlooked. The workers most exposed to AI disruption are not the lowest paid or least educated. They earn 47% more per hour than unexposed workers. They're significantly more likely to hold bachelor's or graduate degrees. They're more likely to be female, white, or Asian. This is a white-collar AI story. The jobs being automated first are the professional, desk-based roles that were traditionally a path to the middle class. Now here's the part that might surprise you. Despite all of this exposure, Anthropic found no statistically significant increase in unemployment for the most AI-exposed workers. The gap between high exposure and low exposure unemployment rates has barely moved since ChatGPT launched in late 2022. Even a scenario as severe as the Great Recession, where unemployment doubled from 5% to 10%, would be detectable with this framework. So far, nothing, but there's one exception that's harder to ignore. Young workers aged 22 to 25. In AI-exposed occupations, the job finding rate for this group has dropped by 14% compared to 2022. The blue line, low-exposure jobs, holds steady. The red line, high exposure, trends down after ChatGPT's launch. This is barely statistically significant, and there are alternative explanations. Maybe these young workers are staying in school longer, or pivoting to different careers. But the finding echoes research from Brynjolfsson et al., which found a 6 to 16% employment drop for this age group in exposed occupations. The hiring pipeline may be quietly narrowing. Anthropic's conclusion is measured, but the implication is stark. AI's labor market impact is real, but slow-moving, like the internet or trade with China, rather than a sudden shock. The framework they've built is designed to track it as it unfolds. Right now, no mass unemployment, but the most exposed jobs are already growing more slowly. Young workers are finding it harder to break in, and that 33% coverage in tech is going to keep climbing. The gap between the blue and the red is closing. When it does, we'll want to have seen this coming.